boxing, few fighters have stirred as much debate as Gennady "Triple G" Golovkin.
And that'll be the 14th consecutive knockout for Gennady Golovkin.
Some hail him as one of the greatest middleweights in boxing history, a relentless power-punching machine with surgical precision.
Over's not hearing him. They throw in a towel. Steve, get in there.
Others, however, question his legacy, arguing that he only knocked out lower-tier opponents and struggled when he finally stepped up in competition.
Jacobs has taken Triple G's vaunted power. Is very impressive tonight. We understand that, but that's not normal. What we just saw was not ordinary, it was extraordinary.
In this video, we'll dive into the full picture, the skills, the criticism, the achievements, and with the help of visual evidence, we'll show you why Gennady Golovkin is not only one of the best middleweights of our generation, but arguably one of the most complete fighters to ever step into the ring. Golovkin's reputation was built on one key word: power. As an amateur, Golovkin was more of a boxer, but once he joined forces with trainer Abel Sanchez, Golovkin began stopping foes in the professional ranks. His knockout percentage hovered near 90% for most of his prime, but this wasn't just raw strength, it was science in motion.
Referee Marlon Wright to stop the fight, and now he finally throws the towel.
His ability to generate force came from expert mechanics, a seamless transfer of energy from his core through his arms and shoulders, combined with a unique ability to stiffen his body upon impact. This effective mass made his punches devastating. When Golovkin hurt his opponents, he didn't let up. He was a ruthless finisher, turning small openings into fight-ending sequences with calm, calculated aggression.
While because he's a pressure fighter, and then goes waiting for the second time.
Back in 2011, Golovkin faced one of his sternest tests against former boogeyman Kassim Uma. The iron-chinned Uma stood up to Golovkin's power and returned fire, but his toughness only invited a savage beating as GGG became the first man to halt the tough Ugandan. Once Golovkin hit the United States in 2012, he embarked on a legendary 13-fight stoppage streak. Daniel Geale, who held wins over Anthony Mundine and one of the top middleweights in Felix Sturm, had 2 losses on his record, all by controversial split decision. Golovkin took him out within 3 rounds.
Down goes Geale, first knockdown of the fight. That body shot. Down goes Geale again, and Geale can't go forward. And it's a 3rd round knockout for Golovkin.
Similarly, Martin Murray was a strong middleweight who'd suffered controversial decision losses to Sturm and to the lineal champion Sergio Martinez. Triple G dropped him twice and battered him across 11 rounds before stopping Murray.
No matter how good the defense, he's determined to find a way through, and is he doing just that here? Murray's face is a bloody mess. Those punches are starting to find a way through, and he's called it off. The referee calls a halt in the...
And if his opponents refused to go down, Golovkin dished out beatings, as he did against the tough Gabriel Rosado and Curtis Stevens. The talented welterweight Kell Brook refused to go down against Golovkin and suffered a broken orbital bone before his trainer threw in the towel.
Hey, Jim, Kell Brook got some jaw. I mean, I haven't seen a guy stand there and trade with Gennady Golovkin in God knows how long.
He's digging to the body with a 3-punch combination.
Engel is trying to get referee Marlon Wright to stop the fight, and now he finally throws the towel.
Golovkin didn't just win, he overwhelmed. His knockouts were clinical, calculated, and brutal. More than power, they showed a fighter in complete control. But Triple G was far more than just a knockout artist. A seasoned amateur, Golovkin won most of the major titles available, save for a gold medal in the 2004 Olympics. Many feel he deserved the decision in that final match. Still, the amateur pedigree denotes a fighter adept at outboxing his foes. This translated into the professional ranks. He possessed one of the most effective jabs in boxing, used not simply to score, but to disrupt rhythm, break balance, and create openings. The jab came sharp, with a forward snap of the shoulder and corkscrew motion to maximize impact. The clearest example came against fellow power puncher David Lemieux in 2015. Lemieux had 31 KOs to his 34 wins, and Triple G stated he was weary of his opponent's ordnance. And so, Golovkin went back to his boxing. He used deft footwork to avoid Lemieux's offense and used a heavy jab to tenderize Lemieux. Golovkin dropped Lemieux in the middle rounds before halting him in the 8th round. Another example occurred back in 2013 when Golovkin took on Curtis Stevens, one of the original New York chin checkers. Stevens possessed a lethal left hook, but Golovkin nullified it by maintaining range and jabbing Stevens. Golovkin dropped his foe and stopped him in the 8th round.
Good left hook by Golovkin. Down goes Stevens. There it is. Cossack Thunder. Big right cross by Golovkin. And they're going to stop it in the corner.
That's a great stoppage.
Andre Rozier had seen enough.
The jab also proved pivotal against Daniel Jacobs. The talented Jacobs was on a winning streak of his own with victories over Sergio Mora, the undefeated Peter Quillen, and contender Caleb Truax. Golovkin dropped Jacobs early, but met resistance as the bigger and quicker Jacobs adapted.
Good shot. Hard right hand by Jacobs. Another combination by Jacobs. Good body shots. Driving Jacobs into the corner, and Jacobs fights his way out of the corner.
There, Golovkin landed enough jabs to complement his power shots and route to a decision win. In his first meeting against Saul Canelo Alvarez, Golovkin outworked the Mexican with the jab in what most agree should have been a win for the Kazakh instead of the controversial draw. Even past his prime, that jab continued pumping against younger men like Sergei Derevyanchenko and Ryota Murata en route to victories. His footwork was subtle but brilliant, allowing him to cut off the ring, create angles, and dictate pace. Combined with excellent timing, Golovkin was rarely off balance and always in position to counter. This footwork allowed him to pressure opponents and to seamlessly avoid incoming fire before reapplying the pressure. This suffocated many of his foes, allowing Triple G to score stoppages. This was evident in his fights against quick movers such as Gabriel Rosado and Willie Monroe Jr. Even against the bigger Daniel Jacobs, Golovkin always stuck to him like glue, and Jacobs seemed relieved when the final bell rang. Golovkin wasn't just powerful, he was precise, smart, and complete. A true technician behind the menace. What made Golovkin even more dangerous was his durability. Over a combined 300-plus amateur and professional fights, he was never knocked out, never even knocked down.
Counterpuncher when Triple G is caught in.
Crowd comes out of its seats.
His iron chin, paired with relentless stamina and pressure, made him a nightmare for opponents. He could walk through punches and still apply pressure in the late rounds with the same energy as the first. In 36 rounds against the heavy-handed Saul Alvarez, Golovkin took everything his younger foe launched without ever faltering.
Listen, Canelo's
good shot.
Shots like that.
He also absorbed bombs from Curtis Stevens and Daniel Jacobs without blinking. With an iron chin, relentless stamina, and unshakable composure, Golovkin wasn't just hard to beat, he was built to outlast anyone who dared to stand in front of him. Despite his attributes, Golovkin's career has been shadowed by criticism. Some argue he didn't face top-level opposition during his knockout streak. Others say that when he finally fought elite opponents like Canelo Alvarez, he struggled or couldn't finish the job. But let's set the record straight. Golovkin faced many fighters who avoided him during his prime. He was the classic high-risk, low-reward opponent, too dangerous to fight, but without the big-name legacy opponents willing to take the risk. By the time big fights finally came, he was already in his mid-30s. Still, even late in his career, Golovkin gave Canelo Alvarez two of his toughest fights. Many believe he won the first, and he arguably edged the second. He went toe-to-toe with one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world and proved he belonged at the highest level. While critics questioned his resume, the truth is clear. Golovkin was avoided in his prime, and when the big fights finally came, he proved he belonged. He didn't duck challenges. He was the challenge others tried to avoid. Gennady Golovkin holds the record for the most middleweight title defenses in boxing history, with 21 successful defenses, surpassing the previous mark of 20 set by Bernard Hopkins. Many fans and analysts also contend that Golovkin deserved the win in both of his controversial bouts against Canelo Alvarez.
Golovkin lands a right hand, and then backs Canelo off.
Known for his devastating power, sharp technique, iron chin, impressive footwork, and relentless endurance, Golovkin is widely regarded as one of the most complete fighters of his generation. Legacy in boxing isn't always written in gold belts or big names. Sometimes it's carved into the faces of opponents, in the silence of arenas, stunned by knockouts, in the respect earned from peers and fans alike. Gennady Golovkin was a force of nature. He didn't come to entertain with words. He came to knock out his opponents. He brought a cold, calculating violence to the ring. But outside of it, he carried himself like a gentleman. No excuses, no trash talk, just business. For over a decade, he stood at the top of a division that struggled to find men willing to meet him in the center of the ring. He was feared, he was avoided, and when he finally got his shot on the big stage, he proved what true fans already knew, that Triple G belonged with the elite. In the end, Golovkin didn't just fight for titles. He fought for legacy, and whether you love him or doubt him, you can't tell the story of modern boxing without him. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments, where do you rank Triple G among the greatest middleweights of all time?